Welcome back to the Stretch the Floor podcast. My name is Matt, and I'm joined, as always, by Venush to talk about everything basketball. And today, with the season actually pretty close to resuming, 8 games left, but we thought it's a good a time as any to go over the NBA awards, who we think should win each one. But first, there is actually some news. The biggest piece of news from this week is Avery Bradley, for family reasons, has decided to opt out of the NBA's return in Orlando. And the Lakers reportedly have signed J.R. Smith to replace him. So how do you feel about that?
Oh, I think it's just Lakers basically lose a starter because Avery Bradley played a lot of minutes
Yeah.
either at the beginning of the game or to close out a game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And J.R. Smith, he has sat out for almost over a year now.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not going to be the same player as he was when he was playing.
And even when he was playing, he wasn't
That
the
great,
last
yeah.
the last couple of seasons he played was not that great. And I mean, Avery Bradley guarded the point guard for the Lakers pretty much the whole year.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. Does this change your title prediction at all?
Yeah, now I think it's Giannis's / the Bucks title to lose
Really?
because
Yeah.
they were favorites going into this restart, I'm assuming, by most people.
Yeah, probably.
But after LeBron loses some help, and we still don't know if Dwight Howard's playing.
Yeah,
So
yeah, good point.
yeah, I think it's clear favorites for the Bucks now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The Clippers were my team before all this happened, but I would probably go Bucks now.
Yeah, because we also don't know if Lou Williams playing as well, and he's
Yeah,
a big piece.
yeah. And the Clippers have played as a full team. They've hardly played any games this whole season, so who knows what their chemistry is going to be at.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the only news. I guess we can get right into the awards. We'll start off with Coach of the Year, and we'll talk about say who you think should win, or just say who your top 3 finalists are first, and then we'll just talk about who.
Okay, so my number 3 is Frank Vogel. Number 2 is the Memphis Grizzlies coach, Tyler Jenkins. And number 1 is Nick Nurse.
I agree with the first and last one. I got Eric Spoelstra in at number 2, though. I think he did a really good job this year with that Miami team.
So for Frank Vogel, like that Lakers team is just not as talented as people think it is.
Yeah, that's really true.
It's just top heavy, and he's done a really good job at making them first in the West, which is a really tough conference. So you have to give him credit where credit's due.
Getting a lot out of guys like we said, Avery Bradley, JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, guys that we thought were kind of washed up, and they actually had some really productive seasons on that team this year.
The reason I put the Memphis Grizzlies coach Tyler Jenkins in consideration is because this Memphis team before the season started was expected to be at the bottom of the NBA, not even just their conference, like the NBA.
Yeah.
And they're in the 8th spot by a significant margin.
And a lot of guys like had pretty decent seasons. Like Jonas Valanciunas was kind of a guy that I think a lot of us wrote off as being a productive player on a good team. Maybe not.
Yeah.
But he had a good season. Guys like Dylan Brooks had a really good season. Jay Crowder, before he got traded, had a really good season. So yeah, definitely a lot of credit to him. I like Eric Spoelstra. I mean, he's won this award before, but so it's no secret that he can coach. I just think that Miami team also outperformed expectations, I think. Now a lot of credit goes to the step up that Bam Adebayo had and Jimmy Butler going there and kind of setting the tone. But I still think he did a really good job just getting a lot out of those guys, like using rookies like Tyler Hero in the right spots and Myers Leonard.
Starting
he's not a
Kendrick
rookie,
Nunn,
but
which was a big
starting Kendrick
decision.
Nunn, big thing, definitely paid off.
Yeah, I just gave Tyler Jenkins because he lost his leader halfway through the season, and they still are the 8th seed. Jay Crowder was the vocal leader, the defensive leader. He was like the morale booster. He was such an important piece of that team.
Yeah.
They lost him and got nothing back because Justice Winslow hasn't played yet. They had an off-court distraction with Iguodala. And with all of that, they still are the 8th seed.
Yeah, with
such a young team.
A very, very, very young team. That is, that is so true.
He would have won it if this was a regular season without the huge circumstance that the Raptors had. He would be a clear winner, in my opinion. For me, the Raptors just had such a unique circumstance where it's Nick Nurse's award no matter what.
It has to be Nick Nurse's award. Coach of the Year and MVP mostly are the narrative has a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Raptors won the championship last year, lose the Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard, and are
Lose a
still
starter as well,
lose a
Danny
starter.
Green.
And Danny Green, and still finish or not finish, but they're 46-18. You just can't argue with that. And just
Mm-hmm.
the seasons that I don't want to say that he got out of Norman Powell and Fred VanVleet because they obviously put in the work and
Yeah,
credit to them, but he is just so smart and so good at knowing what lineups to use, who to play when. Um, and I mean, he experiments a lot with different defenses and stuff like that. Like he kind of started this trend back in the finals of he went to the box and won against Steph Curry famously.
yeah,
He kind of continued that kind of unexpected experimentation with lineups throughout the season. Played a lot of zone, probably played the most zone in the league. Um, and sometimes you would see teams just get confused on offense and not know what to do. And then as soon as they got used to the zone, he would switch out of it and
yeah.
just kind of keep everyone guessing. So that's a really cool thing I like that he did this year.
And the number one reason is injuries. Like the
Oh yeah,
Raptors have been
come on.
so injured,
Yeah,
and they're still the second seed, so
I mean,
it's
I
his
looked
award.
this up today. Between Siakam, Lowry, Ibaka, Van Vliet, Gasol, and Norman Powell, that's a total of 101 games missed to injury from those players, and to still
Yeah,
finish with the second seed and third best record in the league is
that's
insane.
crazy. Yeah.
And yeah, yeah, exactly. That's insane. And I think he got a lot out of some young players like Chris Boucher, Terrence Davis, and even Rondae Hollis Jefferson, guys that
Mm-hmm.
were not expected to have really productive years this year and kind of were really key pieces, especially when a lot of guys missed time for
This time,
injuries.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I know you and I both at the beginning of the season as Raptors fans were criticizing him a lot because he kept
Mm-hmm.
a really tight rotation and just refused to play guys
Yeah.
like Hollis Jefferson, like Chris Boucher, even
Matt
when
Thomas. Yeah.
Matt Thomas, even when Kyle Lowry was playing 40 minutes a game in
Mm-hmm.
meaningless games in October and November. But I mean, credit to Nick Nurse because uh, those players earned his trust and are now uh, pretty important
Like,
pieces to that team.
yeah.
It's a pretty deep team if you look at it now.
He just said you're not gonna play unless you play hard and you
Yeah,
give it your all.
yeah. And
And those
Stanley
players,
Johnson never earned his spot on the rotation, but guys like
to
Hollis
be fair,
Jefferson did.
Stanley Johnson has been working really hard in the G League, and he does get opportunities when he comes up, but
Yeah,
he just has his shots so broken that he still can't play in the NBA. But he's working on it. I believe in a couple
yeah.
of years
No,
he'll be back in the NBA.
no. So do I. He's still young.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I think we both agree Nick Nurse should win, and I think he probably will win. I don't really see
yeah. I
another
can't see a
scenario. Yeah,
situation. Yeah.
I don't see it. I wonder if he's gonna get fired.
All right.
Anyway, so yeah, we can move on to the most improved. This is probably the most interesting award. We
Yeah.
might disagree about this one, but I'm not sure yet. So who do you got for this?
So at number three, I have Siakam. At number two, I have Bam. And at number one, I have Brandon Ingram.
So you don't have Devontae Graham on that list at all.
No, he's a second-year player, and I don't think second. If I'm unless I'm incorrect, but
Yeah, second
second
year.
year
Yeah,
second year players, I expect them to take a leap, and
yeah.
I'm not going to give him the most invaluable,
I mean,
most improved.
I love that you have Siakam on that list. I don't have
Hmm.
him on my list. I actually have Devontae Graham winning. Um, but and
Really?
then I have Bam at 2 and Brandon Ingram at number 3.
Hmm.
Um, Ingram out of these 3 players is the best player
Yeah.
who has improved a lot, but I think Devontae Graham improved the most. I mean, he went from 5 points to 18
I'm,
points a game.
I just this is like if you look through the history of the most improved player award, they
Yeah,
just don't give it to second-year players
that's fair.
because the NBA expects second-year players to make huge leaps.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just can't give
I
it to
mean,
him because
that's why I
look at
didn't.
Trey Young and Luka Doncic.
Yeah, I know
How
that's
much they
true.
improved. Yeah,
That's why I didn't have. I wanted to talk about Shea on this list, Shea
yeah,
Gilgeous, but I just second year players it doesn't go to them. But I
yeah,
think it's a kind of a special case with Graham because I don't know about you, but I didn't even know who he was last year.
yeah. I didn't
I
know
had
as
not
well.
heard that name until this year.
No.
And to average 18, 7.5 assists too, and his 3-point percentage went from 28 to 37, and he took a lot, like 9 a game this year, or
Hmm.
maybe it was 7, but it's a high number a game. I think that's really respectable. And I think while he is still the worst player on this list, obviously, and all 3 players made a huge jump, he
Yeah.
I think he improved the most. But it is fair that he's a second year player, so he might not
Hmm.
win it.
Yeah. So for like Brandon Ingram, just he alone wasn't even like considered like a big trade piece for
Yeah, it was honestly
the
mostly Lonzo Ball. Like,
yeah, like he was just a great player, but no one thought he was going to be a star. And I think like he just became a star, which is such a hard thing to do
I know. I mean, we all knew
in
he
one
had the
season too.
we all knew he had the talent. Like going into the season, I pretty sure I was pretty sure that he was going to be at least contending for this list of most improved
Hmm.
because he did average 18 last year.
Yeah,
And I thought that becoming maybe not the primary ball handler, he did become the primary ball handler, but I wasn't sure. But just getting more touches and getting more opportunity to play through mistakes, I knew he was going to have a better season. But he went up a huge level, a level I just did not expect. His I mean, he averaged 18 last year, averaged 24 this year, and his 3-point percentage went from 33 to 39 this year, which is
yeah,
ridiculous. And he shot a lot of them, 6 a game this year.
yeah.
His defense did maybe take a little bit of a step back, but yeah,
Yeah, the reason I gave it to Brandon Ingram over Bam was just because kind of we expected Bam to be the second or third best player on that Miami Heat team
yeah,
coming into the season, and
yeah.
he lived up to the expectations, so that's why he's still on this list. But Brandon Ingram, we didn't expect him to be the best player. We
No,
expected him to be definitely behind Drew Holiday,
yep.
and a
Maybe
lot of people
behind
expected
Lonzo.
him.
Yeah,
A lot of people expected him to be behind Zion as well.
yeah.
But you have to admit, this season he's been the best Pelicans player.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So like
Not close.
he
Better than
did a,
Drew Holiday. Not saying a
he
lot.
yeah, he did more than our expectations, which is why I have to give him this award.
Yeah, I mean,
Eh,
to go
Yeah,
from a player who we weren't sure could if he could fit on a team or not. I mean, it doesn't help him playing beside LeBron because he's the type of player who kind of needs the ball in his hands. But
yeah,
the improvement he made this year is definitely is crazy. I
yeah.
will say about Bam, I kind of wanted to give it to him, but I just decided not to. Bam, last year he was a nice energy player and he played some
Mhm.
really good defense, but I was not expecting him to average the amount of points that he averaged this year. I wrote it
For
down.
me, it's the assist.
I mean, yeah, the assists. Like he went from 9 to 16, which I wouldn't have guessed that he was going to average 16 this year. But that's still,
Mhm.
yeah. But you're right. The assists, the playmaking, and the assists, I did not expect. And the defense. He was already good last year, a good kind of a
Yeah,
Siakam-esque like energy defender. But he became like a defensive player of the year caliber player this year. He's not going to win
yeah.
it, but he became a ridiculous defender this year.
And speaking on Siakam, like in the beginning parts of the season, he was in like MVP
Yeah,
conversations.
yeah. Oh
So
yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you have Pascal on the list. So yeah,
yeah,
explain that a little bit. I mean,
he's
I agree with you.
obviously he wasn't gonna win MIP back to
Yeah,
back because
back
I
to
don't think
back.
anyone ever has.
That's yeah,
But he just went from being the second or third option on a championship team to
hmm
potentially a first option on the team with the third best record
yeah.
in the East. No, third best record in the NBA, second best in the East.
Second in the East. Yeah,
And he's like the clear offensive focal point. Like
yeah.
when you
Oh yeah,
see teams, they always like the reason Kyle Lowry can have good games, Norman Powell can have good games is because of the attention he draws.
yeah,
And I just think it's amazing that he's still able to improve his stats with this much attention on
yeah,
him now.
yeah. And
It's
I think
amazing.
I would say about him is while his other the players that I have and that we have on this list above him increased their stats more, I
Hmm.
honestly think that Pascal actually improved his game more than anyone else on this list because last year he could shoot that corner three with decent consistency but could not hit an above the break three. His
Yeah,
handle was not very good at all. It's still not great, but it's a lot better than it was last year. And just his decision making, aggressiveness, passing out of doubles and stuff like that. He can be the set the screen, he can call for the pick, he can run that pick and roll, he can initiate the offense, he can initiate the fast break, finish the fast break, he can do everything. There's
yeah.
literally
He's
almost
improved
nothing
so
he can't
much.
do.
He was such a one-dimensional offensive
Yeah,
player the
exactly.
year before. He was just
Yeah.
spin move, corner
Corner three.
three.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Transition. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and now he could actually like do half-court sets,
Yeah.
lead on
Yeah.
offense.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just amazing. Yeah,
And there's still a lot of room for him to improve too.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, here's hoping. But yeah, so I would give it to Devontae Graham and you would give it to Ingram.
yeah,
I can see it going both ways. Yeah.
yeah.
So moving on to rookie, I don't think there's gonna be much argument about this.
Hmm.
Who do you have?
So at number one, it's Ja Morant.
Yeah, obviously.
Number two is Kendrick Nunn, and number
hmm
three is Zion.
Yeah, see, I didn't even put Zion as a finalist because I think
Hmm.
like if he were to play enough games to be a finalist, he should have that should be enough games to win the award. And I think if he had played enough games, he would definitely win this award, probably for
Yeah.
me over Ja. So I just left him off. I said Ja, Kendrick Nunn, and RJ Barrett because I think RJ Barrett, while he had a lot of ugly games, that team was so bad, and he still had some games where he kind of was the best player on the floor at times and took over games. Still averaged 14 points a game, horrible efficiency, but I mean I think it was still relatively overall successful rookie campaign for him.
Yeah. I think Zion's 18 games is better than RJ Barrett's 62. So that's why I have him over
I
here.
mean,
Like the only reason
yeah.
I have Kendrick Nunn and Ja Morant over Zion is because they started all their games. They're on playoff teams.
Mm.
So it's just disrespectful if we put Zion above him. But
Yeah.
Zion he's just so much better than RJ Barrett.
Oh, no. He's so much better, of course. Yeah, no, I know.
So I just had to put him at the 3. I had to give
No,
him
I know.
some recognition for even though it was 18
That's true.
games.
That's
It's
fair. That's fair.
it's iconic 18 games, so
That's fair.
he deserves
Yeah.
it.
I mean,
Yeah.
let's say, and what if he plays the last
And he's
8
gonna
games of
play
the season,
8 more,
right?
yeah, so
What if he, so
26
26 games?
versus like 60 from
Yeah,
RJ.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. So do you think that if Zion had played like that for 60 games or 40 games, do you think that would be enough to overtake Ja for the rookie? Or do you think Ja's rookie season was that good that even if Zion kind of played to his full potential for an extended part
I
of the
think
season?
if he played 40 games, I'll still probably give it to Ja. But if he
Yeah,
played the full season like Ja did,
yeah.
I think you have to give it to Zion because
I mean, if he averaged those numbers and that efficiency, or even like 80% of that, that would probably still be his award to
and
lose.
and the Pelicans will probably be in the playoffs because
Probably. Oh yeah,
we seen
probably.
how good they became when Zion
Yeah,
entered
I
the
would agree
court.
with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
so
mean, even saying that, Ja Morant. I mean, I talked about him a lot last episode,
mhm.
so I don't want to go into that too much here. But he led that Memphis team, like you said. Taylor Jenkins,
Yeah,
took that team from the second overall pick to being in the 8th seed. Ja has
yeah,
obviously a lot to do with that too.
mhm,
For a lot of the season, he was second in fourth quarter scoring. I don't think he is there now, but he's still top 5.
yeah.
And I personally think that in a few years he'll be a top 3 point guard.
Oh, I don't know about that, but
Really,
he has
I don't know.
potential.
I think that. I mean, it
Yeah,
obviously depends how the end of LeBron and
mhm,
Curry's careers go. But yeah,
yeah.
and I think he's gonna. I can see him winning an MVP at some point in his career and
Yeah.
championships. That's
We
just
got to
I'm really high on him.
we got to talk about Kendrick Nunn too, though, because
Oh, yeah, of course.
starting 62 games on this Miami team is amazing.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
He was a nobody who snapped in the G League, not even the Summer League,
Hmm.
got people's attention, and then started starting games, and he was still such a good offensive player. And it's just surprising, like, to see a rookie just be this composed,
I know.
this just be like such a good player and not have an ego. It's
Yeah,
like so surprising.
because he came in and his first 20 games were special. Like
Yeah,
around that, he trailed off a little bit as the season went on, understandably. Even though he's
yeah,
older, he still hit that rookie wall, which is totally understandable.
hmm
But yeah, that first part of the season, he came in and it looked like he was a 10-year vet in the
yeah,
league. Just no fear, hitting clutch shots. Honestly, he was probably at the beginning of the season, he was probably the second best player on the team over
yeah,
Bam, I would say, even.
hmm
So that's huge. He has to be number 2. He
yeah.
has to.
He averaged 15.6 points per game on 44.8% shooting, 36% on three pointers.
Yeah.
He was an undrafted rookie. Like he was just crazy.
Yeah, I
Like
love undrafted rookies like Terrence Davis. Obviously, he's
yeah,
not good enough to make this list, but I love guys like that. 4
yeah,
years at college, just comes into the league, grinds, no
ready.
fear. I love
They
that.
were just ready to play. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So we kind of agree on the first 3 awards so far, but
yeah. Oh,
uh,
sorry, my bad. I thought we were supposed to talk about defensive player of the year next. I kind of,
defensive player
sorry, my
next. That's
bad.
what I was saying.
Yeah,
That's what I
sorry,
think
sorry.
we're kind of a little bit argue on. So
Yeah,
my number 3 is Rudy Gobert. My number 2 is Anthony Davis, and my number 1 is Giannis.
I agree. I
Oh,
completely agree with
okay,
you.
okay, yeah.
So why do you have that? Why do you have Giannis? I'm surprised. I thought you were going to argue with me about that because that seems like
Yeah,
a take that I would have on this.
No, like the Bucks defense has been historic this year.
Historically good.
So they deserve the defensive player of the year. And the best player by far on the Bucks defensive end is Giannis.
By far. It's not Giannis is not the best player on the defense. He is the defense.
Yeah,
Like the Bucks were the number one. I mean, by defensive rating, they were the number one team by a mile, by like 4 points this year,
yeah.
and they only allowed 38.8 points in the paint, which
Mhm.
is absolutely ridiculous. Davis has Giannis beat by the numbers, like by the raw
Yeah.
numbers, 2.4 blocks and 1.5 steals versus 1 and 1 for Giannis.
Mhm.
But I mean, the numbers I care about are those team defense numbers because Giannis, I think, is the best help defender of all time. I can't really think of anyone who would be a better help
Oh,
defender than that
I don't
freak
know
of
about all
nature.
time, but definitely right now he
I
is.
mean, he's
Yeah,
by far the best help defender in the league right now.
yeah. But like the reason I have him and Anthony Davis above Rudy Gobert
Yeah,
is just because of their versatility.
yeah, yeah,
Like they can
yeah.
switch on to the point guard for limited roles.
Mhm,
They could switch on to like any forward, any guard. They could guard the center. They're just iconic defenders. Like they will be remembered as like the
mhm.
prototypical defender. Like
Yeah,
you want everyone to be Giannis and
yeah,
AD.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, just watch the Bucks play
Hmm.
and see guys on the other teams just not even try to drive into the paint
Yeah,
because I mean Brooke Lopez. I mean, you got to give credit to him. He has stepped up a lot as a defender because we
yeah.
used to make fun of him all the time for being a horrible defender,
Just
and now
getting
he actually
dunked
looks good.
on. Yeah,
Yeah, all the time. He's still not a good defender getting caught on switches, but that doesn't happen a lot in the Bucks defense. Um, but so obviously credit to him, but I don't think he would look anywhere near as good as he looks without Giannis just always being there to clean up
yeah,
mistakes. And I mean, another thing is I don't think you can ignore defensive rebounding. Giannis averaged 11 and a half, and Davis only averaged 9.5.
yeah.
So
We could talk
yeah,
about Gobert too, because
hmm
he's a two-time Defensive Player of the Year, and he's still third on this list.
yeah,
We could say some people say it's voter fatigue that he's not winning again
yeah,
by
could be.
like us
But I mean,
fans in general.
yeah,
But the reason for Rudy Gobert is uh, Giannis has a Brook Lopez.
yeah,
Anthony Davis has a Dwight Howard, a JaVale McGee, a Danny Green,
hmm
some solid defenders.
so that
Gobert
team
really doesn't
defense,
have
yeah.
anyone.
So maybe it should actually go to Rudy because he doesn't
Yeah,
have as much help. But I mean,
because
those,
Donovan Mitchell's a bad defender.
yeah,
Joe Ingles is a good defender, but you could see him.
hmm
He goes for a lot of steals and cuts the passing laces sometimes because he knows he has Rudy Gobert behind him.
hmm
Bogdanovich is not a good defender. Mike
he's okay.
Conley,
He did a good
Mike
job
Conley wasn't a
on
great.
LeBron that one time in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
Mike
But
Conley's not a good NBA player anymore.
oh,
Yeah,
disrespectful.
Royce O'Neal was a good defender, which
Yeah, he
finally he
was
started
good.
helping out Rudy
Yeah,
Gobert.
yeah. But I
Gobert
mean,
just keeps that team afloat.
I think Giannis is just insane. I don't think.
Yeah,
I mean, I can see Davis winning it. I'm pretty sure Davis is the favorite actually to win the award.
I think so as well. Yeah.
But I would definitely give it to Giannis
Hmm.
because I mean, obviously Davis is almost as good as Giannis as a making that team defense good. Like that Lakers team was near the top, and
Yeah,
all the defensive stats too. And obviously that wouldn't happen without Davis.
without Davis. Yeah.
But I mean, Giannis, you'll see he'll be guarding someone on the perimeter, and Brooke Lopez will get beat like by a guy cutting to the basket, and Giannis will be there in a half second, in 2 steps, and
Yeah.
like just where did he come from? Just swatting the ball into the stands. Or the other way around, he can close out to the perimeter in like a half second. It's ridiculous
Yeah.
to just watch the Bucks.
To be fair to Giannis, the reason Davis is probably the favorite is because Bledsoe gets a lot of credit.
True.
Chris Middleton gets a decent amount of
Yeah.
credit.
Brooke Lopez gets a lot of
Brook
credit.
Lopez gets a bit of credit as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
That's
guess the
fair.
other solid defenders on the team kind of diminish Giannis's chance at this award. But I just think it's so historic. 4 points, like you
Yeah.
mentioned, like
Yeah.
it's such a clear advantage
Yeah.
that award has to go to the Bucks. Like,
Yeah.
just give it to them as a team, if
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, Giannis deserves this, in my opinion. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I do think it will go to Davis in part also because part of the narrative around LeBron now is people like to say that he is not even close
Horrible.
to the defender as he used to be,
Yeah,
and I've been guilty of saying that too.
yeah.
He is better than the narrative makes him sound, but it is
Hmm.
true that that the individual defenders on the Bucks are probably better than the ones that the Lakers have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that much of a difference, but it probably give it to the Bucks.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, but
So
it's a point where if Giannis, Anthony Davis, or Rudy Gobert wins, you can't be mad.
you can't be mad. Yeah.
But we just want to
Yeah.
lead. It's the historic team defense, which Giannis leads.
Yeah. And another
Yeah.
thing, spoiler alert, but Giannis is one of the top 2 finalists for MVP, and
Yeah.
maybe voters won't want to give him both. It's
Yeah,
possible.
because it hasn't happened in a while where someone's won MVP and Defensive Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
I think like Tim Duncan and Michael Jordan were like the last 2 players to do it. So it's been a while.
Yeah, so who knows? Yeah. But I mean, Giannis is pretty universally loved, so maybe it'll happen this year. All right, so here's one of my favorite awards, Sixth Man. I'm pretty sure you can guess who I have as my sixth man, but I want to hear who you have.
Yeah, so number 3 is Lou Williams. Who's your number
But
one?
number
Probably?
3, you mean number 1, right?
No. Number 2 is Montrezl Harrell, and number 1 is Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, looking at the numbers for all 3 of these guys, they're very similar. They all averaged right around 19. Schroeder had better efficiency numbers than Lou Williams.
Yeah, he did.
The reason I have Lou Williams as my sixth man of the year is because how would it look if I put him in my top 10 shooting guards and didn't give him the sixth man? Like, come on, I can't do that. to give it to Harrell or something and not have Harrell in my top 10 centers, but have Lou Williams at number 6 and not give him sixth man. I can't do that. No, but seriously, I don't think the Clippers, like I said, were my title favorites. Maybe not now, but they were. And I don't think they would have been my favorites without Lou Williams. Like, even if you replace Lou with Schroeder, I don't think that team is nearly as good. He's just automatic buckets off the bench, and everyone knows that. And you can just count on him to just come off the bench and just keep your team in that game and just outscore the opponent's bench. Obviously, he has Montrezl Harrell because Montrezl Harrell is ridiculous too.
I think that's why they hurt each other's chances.
That's true.
Because Montrezl and Lou Williams are off the bench. One of them's a 7th man technically.
Yeah, so that's so true. Yeah.
So I think they hurt each other's chances, and they both can't get the word together. So I think they can't get the award.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's why I gave it to Dennis Schroeder.
I think Schroeder is going to win. I'm pretty sure he's the favorite by the odds. And that's a really good point. I mean, and he deserves it too. He had an insane season this year. I mean, I think a lot of people wrote him off when he got traded from Atlanta, saying, "Oh, he's not a good starting caliber player, and he's not going to be able to come off the bench. So he's just going to be one of those expensive players that no one actually wants on their team." But I mean, he's turned that around in a big way this year.
And he runs
38% from 3. Ridiculous.
And that 3-guard lineup that they run, where it's deadly. Chris Paul at the 1, Dennis Schroeder at the 2, and Shea moves to the 3, it's just, that's a lineup that future generations are kind of like try to mimic, because they just have it where anyone gets the ball, create the offense, boom, go.
So
they have Danilo Gallinari as a 4, and Steven Adams. It's just create the ball, get a pick from Steven Adams, go to the basket, and take the shooters. It's like a 2K team kind of.
Yeah, no.
When you're playing on like My Park or something with your friends, that's how it is. It's just
really cool.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, you could make an argument for Billy Donovan being up there for Coach of the Year too for that reason. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't like picking just one of these guys because I love bench players. Like sixth men are like they're just such an important part of every team, I think.
Yeah.
And but you're right, Schroeder will win. I love Lou Williams. His numbers are not as good as Schroeder's, but I think his impact on the Clippers is so big. Like I don't think they're anywhere near as good of a team without Lou Williams. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, Lou Williams is Mr. Sixth Man. Him and Jamal Crawford have won it the most, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But this year he's with Montrezl Harrell. They're just gonna take votes from each other.
That's true.
It's Schroeder's award. This is like a Nick Nurse situation where there's no really Nick Nurse and Ja Morant situation where it's like these guys have locked the awards in, and they're just kind of waiting for the ceremony.
Those are locks.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think MVP is a lock too.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
So we can just go into that.
Yeah. I mean, I've got Giannis.
I got Giannis at 1, LeBron at 2.
And I got Jokic as a distant third. Like
Harden as my 3rd.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll talk about Jokic first, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
he started off kind of slow, and as the season went along, he played at an MVP level. Not like in a normal season, maybe without such historic seasons from Giannis and LeBron. His numbers were MVP caliber, and his team is a very high seed in the Western Conference. They're the second seed, right?
I think so. I think the Clippers are the second seed. I think they slipped down to the third.
Okay, well they're very high in the West, and I think because the MVP is out of all these awards is the biggest narrative award, who has done the most with the least help is
Yeah.
a huge factor in it. Jokic just qualifies for that for me. That's why I have him at
Mm.
number 3.
So the Rockets are 2.5 games behind the Nuggets for the third seed.
Mm-hmm.
So they're pretty close. I think team success is relatively similar.
Yeah,
And James Harden,
I mean,
just the stats.
yeah, yeah,
Like, even I know he's not going to win this year's MVP, but he still averaged 34.4 points per game. Like, he
ridiculous.
deserves to be
No,
a
yeah,
finalist, in my opinion.
yeah,
I think
that's true.
when you're
I
the
would not argue with Harden going over
yeah.
Jokic. Yeah, I think people I think people want Jokic to be an MVP caliber player so badly that he
Mhm.
might just get this finalist because he's not going to win one anytime soon.
I
I
think people
think,
are tired of Harden,
and people are tired of Harden. Yeah,
even though he doesn't win it. He's been a finalist since like 2015, I think.
yeah, it's crazy.
So he's been a
Yeah,
finalist for 5 years. He's only won once,
yeah,
which is kind of sad, but he's kind of getting voter fatigue, even though he doesn't win,
yeah, yeah,
which is pretty funny.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I
Yeah,
do. 34 points a game. He was averaging 40 for a pretty decent stretch early on in the season.
yeah,
And if it weren't for Westbrook exploding like he did in the last 15 or 20 games, I
hmm
would probably have Harden as my number 3.
yeah,
But I think he got a lot of help from Westbrook at the end there.
yeah,
So yeah, but I mean, so we both have Giannis 1, LeBron 2.
yeah.
What separates them for you?
Well, people are gonna say like LeBron's a better playmaker or whatever like that. Like that's the case for LeBron. On the offensive end, if you say LeBron is better, even if it's marginal,
Hmm.
you have to say like they're close.
Yeah.
Like Giannis and LeBron on the offensive end.
Hmm.
On the defensive end, Giannis just overtakes him
Oh
so
yeah,
much.
yeah,
So like that's how I narrowed it down like pretty simply. Like no one has been this close sometimes in the MVP awards
yeah,
where like
yeah,
when Steph Curry wins, Steph Curry won because he's so much better on the offensive end than any other player.
yeah.
Giannis is not so much better than LeBron on the offensive
Hmm.
end. He might even be worse,
Yeah.
but it is MVP, like most valuable
Oh,
player.
I mean, yeah.
It's not most valuable offensive player.
He might be slightly worse than LeBron, but he still averaged 30. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's exactly what I wrote down here. I said offense, you could argue LeBron, but
Mhm.
Giannis's defense just puts him over the top. I
Yeah.
mean, and if you want to look, I don't know how you feel about PER, but by
Yeah.
PER, he's having the 7th best season of all time.
hmm
So I mean, he kind of has to. And I know voters, the guys who vote for this award, love PER.
Yeah.
That's like that. So I mean, he's a
And
lot to me.
also,
Yeah.
yeah, and also for like Giannis, you also have to realize he doesn't even play as much minutes as LeBron.
Yeah, 31 minutes a game.
So his stats, like, even though they're amazing,
Yeah,
they could be even better.
they could be
Like
even better.
if he was given extra time to like pad those stats,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Bucks
I
are
know.
just so good.
Yeah, so
And
I
I
think
think we didn't
yes.
talk about Coach Bud too, but
Yeah,
he's
no, we didn't.
also
I mean,
a
I
pretty
think Coach
amazing
Bud
coach as
also
well.
is kind of suffering from voter fatigue right now too
Yeah.
because he's done an incredible job again. The Bucks got even
hmm
better
Yeah.
with pretty much the same roster as last year, and
Yeah.
yeah. But so I think for MVP, the biggest reason is that offense defense thing, and like I said before, it's a narrative award. Giannis doesn't have he has a second All-Star, but it's Chris Middleton versus LeBron has Anthony Davis, right? Who might win
Yeah.
Defensive Player of the Year and who's also averaging 27 a game this year. So I mean, for Giannis to be the number 1 seed in the entire league, to have no second superstar, and to have every single play on offense running through him and be a Defensive Player of the Year, it just has to go to him.
I still can't see Giannis winning both MVP and defensive.
Really.
Like I want him to. I obviously put him as my favorites to
Hmm.
win both of them, but
Yeah, I mean, I do think Davis is going to win the Defensive Player of the Year.
yeah, I think that's like if LeBron wins MVP and Giannis wins defensive, I wouldn't be shocked.
Hmm.
If Davis wins defensive and Giannis wins MVP, I wouldn't be shocked. But if he goes away with no awards, I'll be super shocked.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's getting one, and I mean, he
If he
might get
gets,
two. If
he
someone's
should
gonna win
get
two,
two.
it's gonna be Giannis. If someone,
He should get two, but I think one's the most
yeah,
probable, and him getting none is
yeah,
would be
not gonna
super
happen.
shocking.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah,
I think the bigger question with Giannis is he the favorite again next year?
I think we need to talk about this season. How say if he wins Finals MVP,
Yeah.
MVP Defensive Player of the Year, Finals
Yeah.
MVP.
Yeah.
Could this be the
The,
best season
of all time
since Michael Jordan?
since
Since like
Michael
Michael
Jordan.
Jordan,
Yeah.
I think it is.
I think it would have to be.
Yeah,
It would have to be not saying he's the best player since Michael Jordan, but the best season by accomplishments.
season.
It
Yeah,
might it honestly might. Now, I mean, like, say what you want about the potential asterisk on whatever happens for the rest of the season, but yeah, I mean, you're right.
LeBron was
Yeah,
close once that year when
yeah.
Marc Gasol won Defensive
When
Player of the
Marcus
Year.
Gasol won it, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you've
That was
always said that you
LeBron's.
think LeBron should have won that award.
Yeah, me and I think most of the if you search up Marc Gasol Defensive Player of the Year, I think the first result is how
Mm.
he has like robbed LeBron
Rob
James.
LeBron. Yeah.
Yeah, but like because he wasn't even first team all defense that year when he won Defensive Player of the Year.
Was he actually not?
No, he was
Oh my
second
God.
team all
I just
defense.
that's that's an issue. Yeah,
So
that's a
yeah,
problem.
LeBron should
Yeah.
have that one. Michael Jordan has one where he's won MVP,
Yeah.
Finals MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and this is lining up to be Giannis's year.
Yeah, it honestly could be. Yeah, and I just wonder, are we going to be saying the same thing about Giannis, 5, 6 years down the road? Oh,
Yeah,
Davis robbed Giannis of that historic
yeah.
accomplishment. It's possible. So, I mean, just
I
really
obviously
quickly, or
don't want
sorry, yeah, no,
Giannis to
you go ahead.
win. I obviously don't want Giannis to win Finals MVP. As a Raptors fan, I want the Raptors to win, or
Well,
at least Giannis to lose,
Giannis to not win the finals so that he
so
can
he
come to
comes to the
Toronto
Raptors. Yeah,
2021.
yeah,
That's what's happening.
that's the
Yeah,
goal. But it seems like it's his championship to lose right now.
I would agree
I
with
would have bet
that.
against Giannis.
I would agree. I don't think it's hands down Bucks are like the prohibitive favorites, but I do think
Yeah,
that
it's not like the Warriors the last couple of years where we wouldn't even like think about betting against him.
yeah.
But if we would love to see LeBron and him clash it out in the
Oh,
finals.
that would be amazing. That
It
would be
could be a
amazing.
passing of the torch moment.
That yeah, like we we never got to see. We almost did, but we never got to see that LeBron Kobe
Kobe,
finals.
2009.
But
Yeah,
we could be seeing the LeBron Giannis finals this year,
yeah.
and that
And
it could be
obviously
something
there's
historic.
Kawhi. There's Kawhi trying to interrupt
There
that.
is Kawhi. Yeah, yeah,
The robot.
yeah. So I mean, I'm looking at next year. I mean, I don't want to talk about this too much because there's no point.
So
But
much
there's
possibilities
so
here.
much. But I mean, I can't really think of anyone outside of Giannis, LeBron, and always Harden who can
Luka
even be up for this
Doncic,
award. Luke,
the guy behind.
yeah, that's a good point, maybe. But I mean, I don't. Is Luka ever gonna? If Luka does put up offensive numbers that are as good as Giannis's this year, he's not gonna be anywhere near Giannis on the defensive end. But
Team
I mean,
success.
it could be team success and
Yeah,
voter fatigue could do that.
voter fatigue. Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean,
because I think the only person who's won 3 straight MVPs, correct me if I'm wrong, was it just Michael Jordan? I'm not even sure if LeBron won. I think LeBron won 3 in Cleveland before he left to Miami. So it's just been LeBron
I would have
and
to look
Michael
that up,
Jordan.
but
Yeah,
that sounds right to me. But yeah,
Steve Nash was close. He got
Steve Nash
first,
was
second,
close. Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
he
So I
tired.
mean,
Yeah, I can see Luka Doncic.
you're right. Yeah, I did not think of Luka. Yeah, I kind of just said, okay, it's going to be Giannis. He might not win because of voter fatigue. Also, if LeBron just decides to go full point guard and just defer to Davis,
Mhm.
I can see Davis winning it next year.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Also, it's going to be harder on, I think, older players next season because it's probably going to be more compact of a season. So we could see LeBron taking some rest
that's a good point. That is actually a really good point. Yeah, because I think the players' union is probably going to want not as many
back to
back to
backs.
backs and stuff
Yeah,
like that, but
they might have
the
to.
league it might have to happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
it might have to.
And then you could see a team like the Bucks where they're so good even without Giannis sometimes,
Yeah.
where they
Yeah.
just might rest him.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
a team
That's a
like
really, really good point.
the
They
Mavericks
need
or
they
the
need
Rockets,
Luka. They need Harden.
Harden,
They need
Harden
Jokic in
and
Denver.
Luka
Yeah.
have to play every game.
That's very true. That is actually a really good point.
Yeah, so next season,
Luka's probably a top 3 favorite going into the season to win MVP.
yeah, I think LeBron is not even a favorite going into next
You don't
season.
think he's even okay.
Because
So
if it's compact, like it wouldn't be wise for LeBron to
No,
play
that's a
all the
really good point.
games.
That
Yeah, because they also have
yeah,
Anthony Davis.
yeah,
He could be
yeah.
like, Anthony Davis, can you take over this game? Because they have the
hmm
chemistry now.
Yeah,
If
so
Anthony
that's what I
Davis
mean.
could take
Anthony Davis
over,
might. It would probably be
hurt
Giannis,
LeBron.
Anthony Davis, and now
Yeah,
that you said Luka, I would agree. Luka have
yeah,
to be the guys that you go to next year. I
yeah.
mean, and just really quickly, it's not really like it's kind of stupid, but would you put LaMelo Ball as your rookie of the year favorite, or I mean, I think Anthony Edwards going in if he doesn't get drafted by the Warriors would be my favorite for rookie of the year. But what do you
I
think?
think I think whoever the next draft, hopefully they get a high pick.
Yeah,
I think if it's LaMelo, they're gonna have such a huge narrative boost if the Knicks
that's so
draft
true.
him,
That's
and
so
if
true.
Anthony Edwards goes on the Knicks, it's gonna be such a
That's so
big
true.
narrative boost.
Like if RJ had averaged 16, 17 with a little
Yeah,
bit better efficiency, he'd be ahead of Kendrick Nunn. Probably
imagine
wouldn't
if
deserve to be ahead, but he would just
if
because of the
RJ
narrative.
was in like the 9th or 10th spot, I
Yeah.
think he would be the favorite to win it over Ja Morant, just because like
You think
people
if
just
he was the
murdered.
really?
Yeah, because the
I
Knicks
mean,
are just they're the biggest franchise,
I think
and
RJ
they're
is
desperate for winning.
I think RJ is in the top 10 favorites for rookie of the year.
No, I'm thinking he would be above Ja Morant if they were in the 9th seed.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. No, yeah, you're right. You're right. They would be.
yeah,
Even though it's the East, even though they
yeah.
probably wouldn't have a winning record or anywhere
It'd
close
just
to
be
it.
like
But
it'd just
yeah,
be like
you're
he
right.
changed the Knicks culture.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
an icon.
You're right.
Like he would be up there.
Yeah,
Yeah. So whoever the Knicks get, if they get a high pick,
you're right.
is my favorite to win
And I
rookie.
mean, yeah, that's very true. And right off
Sixth man,
the
Dennis
yeah,
Schroeder could become a Lua type player.
he could. And I
Yeah,
think you can't really predict coach of the year. It's kind of impossible because
yeah.
it's always kind of
It's
the usual suspects, and you
like
can't
Nick
really predict.
Nurse.
I mean,
Yeah,
defensive player of the year. Oh, the finalists are going to be Rudy Gobert, Giannis, Anthony Davis, maybe Bam's in there.
probably. Yeah,
Maybe Ben Simmons is in there.
yeah.
But I think most improved. I don't want like I didn't think about
Mhm.
this too much, but I just kind of said really quickly Norman Powell maybe. I
Ooh,
don't
I don't know
know.
about that.
Like what if Norman Powell we didn't he's not even in the conversation this year because he just didn't play enough. But what
Yeah,
if he sustains the level of play that he had over the last month, 2 months, for an entire
I
season?
just I just think there's too much options on the Raptors for Norman Powell to become consistent.
Yeah, but I
Because
mean he was
Terrence
consistent.
Davis is going to improve.
He was consistent,
Fred
but
Van
they had
Vliet,
so many injuries that he was
yeah.
kind of it was always changing. You're right about that.
If Fred Van Vliet has a healthy season, Lowry's healthy, Ibaka, Marcus Gasol,
It's true. Yeah.
Matt Thomas,
True. Yeah, like
Siakam,
you can't really win most improved being the fifth or sixth best player on a team, sixth
even
option on a
like
team.
even if he's like the third option, like it's gonna
Uh,
be 3A, 3B, right? Because Fred Van Vliet's still there.
yeah,
Hopefully.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
just kind of quickly wrote down Jaren Jackson Jr. Maybe if he improves his rebounding a little bit.
I think I don't know. He just doesn't go in the post. He just shoots threes.
Yeah, like what if he just puts on 30 pounds of muscle and just starts crushing guys in the post and grabbing 12 boards a game.
It's more likely like what if he becomes Steph Curry and just starts shooting pull-up threes?
Yeah. And how would you feel about this is not happening, but like I don't think he's going to win it and I don't think he's going to be in the conversation, but Lonzo is going to have a really good year next year, I think.
I
I
think
think
Ben Simmons is more
I yeah,
likely to win MIP than
yeah,
Lonzo.
yeah, Ben Simmons is no, he's definitely more likely. Yeah, I
Because
just
if
kind of
Ben Simmons gets shooting, like if they get
no,
rid of
it's over.
Al
Yeah,
Horford and if they get rid of like Josh Richardson for just
yeah,
two great shooters,
yeah. If
and they still have trade value,
yeah,
like
if yeah,
that team's crazy.
if Ben Simmons improves his shooting even just a little bit, or if they improve the team shooting just a little bit,
Yeah.
he's probably winning it, which is
And if like
crazy.
Joel Embiid like hopefully he doesn't, but if he goes down for an extended amount of time,
Yeah, yeah,
when Ben
hopefully.
Simmons
But
starts
you're
going
right.
off,
You're right. You're right.
yeah,
I mean, or if they trade Joel Embiid for James Harden, like we said they should.
yeah, that's not happening, but
Not happen. No, no, no. I'm just kidding. But
that would
I
be
mean,
crazy.
yeah, just on like I think Lonzo next year, he's not going to win it because he's going to be behind, Brandon Ingram and Zion. and maybe even Drew
Yeah.
Holiday on that team in terms of
Yeah.
like on the list of most important players on that team. But I think he's kind of in the
Hmm.
perfect situation next year. I think because he's not going to
Yeah.
be asked to initiate too much in the half court, which is not his strength as a point guard because you've got Drew and Brandon Ingram there, and he's going to be able to
Yeah.
focus on running basic pick and rolls with Zion, or just finding cutters or running that fast break and just playing hard defense. I think he's not going to, maybe not on the stat sheet, but I think he's going to be a really, really, really good player next year.
I think you mentioned a Raptors player, but I don't even think you mentioned the most likely Raptors player. If Fred VanVleet leaves the Raptors,
Oh man, good
he
point.
has a very good shot at winning
Yeah,
MIP.
because Freddie's a free agent this coming summer
And if
or
he
this
gets like
coming whatever.
23 mil, 24 mil a
Yeah,
year from the Pistons,
yeah,
you know the Raptors can't re-sign him at that price.
yeah.
So, and he would have all the offense at the
Oh
Pistons. It
man,
would just be him and hopefully a healthy Blake Griffin. Just
I
pick and
mean,
roll, shooting.
You don't like Sekou
Holy.
Doumbouya, and you don't like Christian Wood.
Well,
No, I
they're
actually
not
love those
offensive
guys.
players.
They're
They're not
so good.
offensive players though.
Christian
They're
Wood's pretty
good.
good. Like he actually is. He could win Most Improved next year. He's so good.
He's a rookie, so I don't think
Oh, true. Yeah,
a
yeah.
second year
No,
player would have.
he's not a rookie.
Christian Wood.
He's bounced around the league for a few
Oh,
years
okay.
now.
But I think Christian
But
Wood's a
yeah,
center. He would play center if Blake
yeah.
returns,
No, I'm
right?
just kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. Especially because Fred, I think he wants to stay on the Raptors, but
I think he wants the bag
he
too.
deservedly wants obviously a payday because was one of the most important players on the championship team last year,
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
one of the most important players for the Raptors this year, and deserves to be paid. And the Raptors just might not be able to afford it,
Yeah.
depending on how high his asking price is. So yeah, you're right. If he goes to a team like the Pistons, or I mean any team that
New York.
he, yeah,
If he goes to New
honestly, the
York,
Knicks. We were saying Suns before, but that's probably not likely now.
because Ricky Rubio's been stepping up. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that's a really good dark horse candidate because I mean Freddie
Mhm.
is in the top 5 this year, probably maybe top 6.
Yeah.
Like yeah, I went looked at the odds and he's actually in the like on the list of the players with the highest odds.
And Freddie also had kind of an injured plague season this year.
He did
Like
like
he
kind
didn't
of low
miss a
key.
lot of
Yeah,
games, but he was also hurt in a lot of them as well.
yeah,
So if he has a fully healthy season and he has a good number two slash number one option to feed in Blake Griffin,
yeah.
I could see him averaging crazy
No,
stats. I don't know if it's going to lead to winning,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it could be crazy statistically.
You're 100% right about that. And yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly didn't realize it felt like Freddie was healthy more than Lowry this season, but he actually missed more games than Lowry did,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
actually really surprised me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing I forgot to say, this is way back for coach of the year, but honestly, I can't give it to Nick Nurse. I forgot because I mean, his coaching in the All-Star game was so questionable. Like what
Yeah.
was that at the end of the All-Star game? I got to give it to Eric Spoelstra. Like
He
I
just
can't justify it anymore.
he couldn't pull Kyle Lowry. He
Kyle
had to
Lowry was
he had to
like
go with his homers. He had to
he
go with the
had to.
team. Yeah.
Siakam and Lowry were just not playing well, and we're just. I mean, Lowry was drawing charges at the All Star game like he always does, so maybe he was earning his minutes. Nick
Yeah,
Nurse
maybe he's
likes that,
earning his
like
minutes
those
on the
grinded out
defensive end.
players. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, yeah, very questionable coaching at the All Star game.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
pretty interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
The coach of the year, Greg Popovich, finally not even in the
He's finally
conversation.
not in the conversation, and the Spurs finally are gonna miss the playoffs.
Hmm.
Sad day,
Kind of a
but yeah,
double-edged sword for Greg Popovich.
yeah,
Missed the playoffs for the first time in his career, I'm pretty sure, and not in the conversation for the first time, potentially in
pretty
his career
crazy.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his career is sadly going to be over probably soon. I would imagine he's going to retire
After the
very
season, I think.
maybe after this season. Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't know if he would want to go through the kind of weird season that's going to happen next year.
Especially with the
Especially
increased risks
with
for
his
him.
age and the risk and everything like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think we pretty much went over everything.
Hmm.
Those are our thoughts on the NBA awards.
Yeah.
I think other than Giannis winning Defensive Player of the Year, I think we're going to be right about everything. I
Hmm.
mean, Lou Williams is not winning Sixth Man. I needed to.
No, it's Dennis Schroeder.
It's going to be Schroeder, but I think it's going to be
Yeah.
Davis instead of Giannis, like we said. But other than that,
Yeah.
I think we did a pretty good job with these guesses.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week with a big board, and then I mean, it's only going to be a couple of weeks before the season comes back, so
Yeah.
we won't have to keep scraping the bottom of the barrel for content anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you so much for listening, and be sure to be back next week for our big board. We're going to talk about LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards and all these fun rookies in this kind of
Yeah.
underrated draft class.
Yeah. Very underrated.
Yeah, very underrated. Okay, we're out.